Notebook, and this is where I share with you all about a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. So I'm just jumping on without any announcement because I was starting to batch prep, and Tom came in the kitchen and I said, you know what, we should just grab the camera and go live right now while I'm batch prepping. So we just got over the holiday weekend, and I did not do any batch prep over the weekend, you know, of my standard stuff. So I did do some cooking, of course, and we happened to have family here on the weekend, so I was cooking for the family, but I did manage to make some extra things and get them in the freezer.
Tiffany's here.
Tiffany, hey, thanks for joining us. And so I was completely out of any baked potatoes today. And
Reeves is here too.
Hey Reeves, hi, how's the baby? How's little Luca? I was thinking about you today and wondering how things were going and what he's doing, because he's 2 months old now. So excited that you can join us as well. So what I did was I looked in the fridge to see like what needs to be used up and stuff that I didn't get to over the weekend that I should have. For this asparagus, for instance, it is starting to lose its green. And so I know that means it's lost some of its phytonutrients, but we're gonna eat it. And so I'm gonna cut it, get it going in the air fryer. I found a kabocha squash that I'd forgot about, and I'm going to get that in the oven and roast it as well. I bought lots of extra mushrooms and we didn't eat them all. So I'm going to show you what I do to save my mushrooms, and it's absolutely delicious. So we're going to do that. I have a watermelon to cut up. I have bananas that are super ripe that need to be peeled and put in the freezer. I have strawberries that we didn't get eaten over the weekend. I overbought. I bought too much food. I was anticipating that the family was going to eat a lot more than they did. Tom and I eat a lot of food because we eat low calorie density food, but not everybody does that. And so not everybody eats as much food as we do. So anyway, and I have a pineapple that I need to cut. I have Roma tomatoes that I need to wash, but I've already washed the potatoes because I was doing that, just finishing that up when Tom came in. So I just want to show you here. And Tom's here, he's behind the camera. So what do I have here?
Tell them what they're mounted on here so that they understand.
Oh, he's got the gimbal so that he has the freedom to move around, because I'm not going to be stationary. I'm going to be kind of moving around in the kitchen.
And it's on a single pole.
Yeah, and so he's got it on a pole, so hopefully it won't be too wobbly for you all. So anyway, I have 3 different kinds of potatoes on here. So, and I've already washed them. I use my, Tom, will you hand me the little green scrub brush? So I just, these are organic, they're from Whole Foods, and thanks babe. And we do
Can I be your hand model? You
can be my hand model. Nice hands. You do have nice hands. And this is my vegetable brush. This is an OXO vegetable brush, and I think we have it on our Amazon store. And Tom will put our Amazon affiliate link in the show description for you. And then if you want to purchase anything that you see me using, we try to have everything on there that we use and that we show. So I just take... Oh,
I am in the picture when I come around.
Oh, okay. Were you? So I just do a little bit of water, and I run some water in my sink, and then I scrub the potatoes really good with this brush, and then I rinse them. And you will be amazed at how much dirt there is on these. But and it still looks pretty ugly and nasty, but that's just how the Hannahs look. So these are Hannahs. They're light colored flesh on the outside and light on the inside. And then these are the purple Stokes. They're purple on the outside and they are purple on the inside. And Tom really, really likes these. I don't like these as much as the Hannahs and the Japanese, but I do like them. They're okay. And then these are the Japanese sweet potatoes.
There's been a complaint.
Oh, where's my flour? Well, the reason the flours aren't in here is because I'm going to be using the Breville. Here's my flours this week. So I do have them, and I didn't even get them posted. We were so busy over the weekend, you guys.
I'm interrupting you because this is freeform, but you mentioned that you bought a lot of food. What did you?
Do you want to come on since we're?
I'm wearing my work clothes.
Oh, he's wearing his work clothes.
I can go put a shirt on.
You could go put a shirt on.
I shouldn't be standing around shirtless in the kitchen anyway.
Well, you have a shirt on, but so anyway.
Yeah, Reeves was what you did cook for the holidays.
Oh yeah, so wow, I cooked so much stuff. So I made barbecue lentil loaves, little mini barbecue lentil loaves that I make in a muffin pan. So I use my silicone muffin pan. You know what? I'll cover that in a minute. I'd like to get these in the oven because these take an hour and 20 minutes. So let's get them started.
Okay.
So I just scrub all of my sweet potatoes, and they happen to all fit on this tray. And I'm going to get these in the oven. And I do not.
Which oven are you going to?
I'm going to my big oven, but you don't need to follow for that. It's not worth it. So I'm just going to put these in. And I always put these on top. And then these are my Yukon gold potatoes. I scrub these as well, but I do pierce these so that they don't explode in the oven. And I like to put these either on the bottom or the middle, but since I'm doing the kabocha squash as well, I'm gonna put the kabocha squash in the bottom. Okay, so Reeves wanted to know what I did make. So, so I made the barbecue little lentil loaf muffins. That recipe's on the blog. I made barbecue soy curls. The recipe for that I've never published. I took the concept from Vegged Out, a blog called Vegged Out from Summer McCowan. She's a friend of mine. And I was a recipe tester for her cookbook, a vegan cookbook. And I use her basic recipe as my base and then, you know, tweak it to be my own thing. So just soy curls and onions and mushrooms and colored bell peppers, and cook all of those and add your favorite barbecue sauce, whether it's Well Your World, one that you make yourself, whatever it is. My family likes to have that over toasted sourdough bread. I also make a coleslaw that we put on top of it. I serve mine on a potato. In fact, I posted a picture of it on Instagram today. And then we had corn on the cob. I also made my lasagna, and I made Caesar salad, and I made my Caesar dressing. And then I also have a much richer Caesar dressing that I have recipe that I've never shared with you guys, but it's one that I make for the adults in my family, not me, but for them, because it's made with almonds and it's really, really rich and really, really delicious. Is it not, Tom?
Mm-hmm. It was really good.
Yeah. So I made that, and what else did I make? I made Chef AJ's Cauliflower Bisque, and that is made in the 8-quart, and we serve that over brown rice. And then we like to put arugula on the top of that as well, and she likes to serve it with a little bit of fresh salsa on top. We did pinto beans, rice, and I made 2 salsas. I made the chimol, which is a fresh salsa, and I bought chips as well as, because you know everybody else likes the salty ones, and then I made chips for me. And then I also made my mango lime salsa. So, so we had the pinto beans. We just did we did burritos for the kids and packed those with avocado, rice, beans, corn, and pinto beans. And then the rest of us had the choice of, we could either make tacos, burritos, or burrito bowls. So I chopped up green onions, fresh cilantro. I had my 2 homemade salsas, the homemade pinto beans in the Instant Pot. I shredded romaine lettuce. I had frozen corn that we heated up. I had fresh limes, and everybody was happy. So that's all the stuff I made. I was so tired of cooking come yesterday, but fed everybody, and we got it all done. So when I was doing my kabocha squash, is when I thought, oh my gosh, I should be on video showing people how to do this right now. So this kabocha squash, you can see it's starting to turn yellow because I found it on the floor in my pantry. And so it's still perfectly fine inside. I was afraid that it might be dried out, but it's not. So what I do is I scrub it. I use my veggie brush, and I do use a little bit of soap, or you could use vinegar, or you could use a vegetable wash, and I just scrub it really good because when we roast it, we do like to eat the skin. It gets really tender and it's delicious. And so then I wanted to show you that I use an ice cream scoop to scoop the seeds out. So you just get in here and you dig around, and it works so great. Voila. Look, it's so easy. So easy. And it's so much better than using a spoon. And then just have a bowl. Rachel Ray calls it a garbage bowl. Just have a bowl, and then because the edges are a little bit tapered and they're a little bit sharp, it just does such a great job of getting in here and getting all the seeds and that membrane out. And voila, it's so fast and easy. So there we go. And then I cut it into wedges, which I had started to do with this half. And we like to take this and cut it up and put it in our chopped salads. I love it over like a lentil soup or a chili. It's so good that way. And then I just cut that into wedges. Oh, what I do, I started to tell you and then I lost my train of thought. I scrub it, and then I pierce it about, I don't know, 6 to 10 times, just with the edge, the point of the knife. Then I put it on a plate or a paper towel, and I put it in my microwave. And depending on the size of it, this was a small one, so I microwave it for 3 minutes. If it's a big one, I'll do 4 or 5 minutes. And what that does is it softens it up enough to make it easy to cut it so that I won't accidentally cut myself when I'm working on it. And then I let it cool enough that I can handle it and scrape all the goodies out of it. So, and then I just cut it into wedges like this. I think my knife is getting dull, Tom. He is great at sharpening our knives. I just have to remember to tell him. Then this one just needs to be cut. Okay, you'll need to rinse that. Thank you, babe. Okay, then.
Oh, Mike is here.
I'm gonna.
Mike is here, and I think probably picked up an Apple Watch from our Amazon show, and he loves it.
Oh, great. We love ours as well. Okay, so I do have this lined with aluminum foil. You can do your Silpat mat. I just need some easy cleanup today. So this is how I'm going. And then I just have my parchment paper. Oh, there he goes. Are you on? I don't know if you're on or not. So I learned this trick from the Esselstyns. In fact, it was somebody that was watching me one day left me a comment that the Esselstyns like to take and crunch up the parchment paper and then lay it out flat, smooth it out flat, and it sits down, it lays better when you do that. So then I'm just going to put my squash on the parchment lined paper. If you want to do just the Silpat mat, you can do that. I just don't want to have to wash more dishes than is necessary today, because I did a lot of dishes on the weekend. Okay, this isn't a great big one, so it's got plenty of room. Now, I like to roast this for about 35 to 40 minutes, and I'll go ahead and do it while the potatoes are going, because that's a convection oven, and it has 3 racks in it, which is great for batch prepping.
So how much did you talk about? How much time on those?
About 35 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. And Mike, you have a timer on your watch. Oh, you know what? The kids played with mine, so my timer's missing right now. Isn't that how it goes? I'm going to set it over here on my microwave. Okay, they love to play with my watch. And sometimes when they do that, things disappear on my face. I'm just getting my dishcloth. Got to get rid of this. So just so you guys know, I have a garbage can down here beside me. So I don't want you to think that I'm throwing this stuff on the floor. But I have a trash can here. And I usually do pull my trash can out when I'm cooking just because then it's really handy, because otherwise it sits under the sink and I would have to be getting that into that constantly. Okay, I think the next thing I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and trim the asparagus, and I'm just going to simply air fry this for about 5 minutes or so, and we're going to eat it tonight, and we don't mind if it's cold. I mean, this also can be a really great snack. I don't like the stems because they get so woody. So I've also heard that they're not good to put in if you make your own broth, that the asparagus stems are not good for that. But I've never tried that, so I can't say yay or nay. But this was one of those big bags of asparagus from Costco. So I'm just going to use my Breville Smart Oven Air, and this is my air frying rack, and I have it lined with the grill mat. I can't get it up. Let's see if I can. Here we go. So these are the grill mats, and we have these on our Amazon page, and they just help make it easier to clean, and they help prevent things from sticking since we're not using any oil, you guys. And then I'm just going to spread these out. I'm not going to preheat the Breville. I usually don't preheat it for air frying, and it works fine for me that way. And these are not really tiny asparagus spears, but they're not the great big huge ones either. So I think about 5 minutes will be fine. So I'm just going to put them in the Breville. And the Breville is marked air fry, tells you where to have it. And then make sure it's set on air fry super convection. And I'm going to go for 400 degrees, and I'm setting it for 5 minutes and push start. Okay, I left this sitting out so that I could talk to you about this. So this is a Trader Joe's Pico de Gallo salsa. So we had dinner at Chef AJ's one night last week, and she is working on a dessert cookbook, and so she's like baking up a storm. So whenever we go there, she gives us treats. And so she had muffins that she wanted to send home with us, and they were really, really good. And so she saves her containers, and they like the Trader Joe's mild Pico de Gallo salsa. It does have some sodium in it, but it's only 110 milligrams of sodium for 2 tablespoons. So it's not bad at all. So if you don't have to be real strict with your sodium, this is great. But what I wanted to show you was, instead of using single-use plastic bags to send food home, she just saves all of her containers, and then if she's going to send stuff home with you, she just does it in these containers. We do the same thing here in order to be able to send food home with our kids, because I'm always batch prepping and sharing stuff with them, and that way they don't have to worry about returning containers to me. Our daughter's really good about it, and she lives close, but our son, he lives half hour away, and so sometimes it's a few weeks before I would get my containers back. So this works out really good. So save all your containers, you guys, and wash them, and they can be used over and over again. So she sent this home with me. I saved it, I washed it, I'll save it, and I'll reuse it to send leftovers home with to somebody else. So that's gonna, it's gonna get used again and again and again. It does say that it is made with recyclable plastic. So there we go.
Are you going to do those bananas in the bag?
Yeah, not right now.
Later?
But I will be doing those, yes. Okay, so I'm also going to make some Brussels sprouts. Oh, I'll leave this up. Tom, if you could bring that over for me, hand it to me.
Well, here, let's show. You want to show how you rinse those, or?
I can. Okay, so this is a bag. I bought 2 bags by mistake. I ended up having 2 bags of these beautiful Brussels sprouts from Costco. They're organic, and I just put them in this big colander. That I like this one because look, it has these extension handles, and so what's great about that is they will fit across your sink, and that leaves you hands free so that you can rinse everything and work with your produce. So this is great when we get home from the store, just to put the vegetables in here or the fruits and give them a nice rinse, because it accommodates a lot. And I think we have it on our Amazon store as well.
Oh, hey Tiffany, I repotted Tammy's African violet. Look at this thing.
It's going crazy.
So happy. We've had this for years, and it's just exploding in blooms right now. And then here's my medium-sized, my basil forest right there that I've given it a rest because I was hitting it pretty hard, so we're letting that recover. So where's Tammy? I'm going the wrong way.
That's the interesting thing about the gimbal.
Yeah, it has a mind of its own. Oh, you're back.
Here I am. Okay, so this is what I like to do with the Brussels sprouts. If the leaves fall off, I do go ahead and put the leaves in with the Brussels sprouts to cook. If they get kind of crunchy, I rather like that. So I like to trim the bottoms off and then just put them on the air fryer. It doesn't really matter if they're upside down or right side up, I guess. We'll do it right side up just so that cut side gets cut. If I didn't have my oven full, I would roast them in there, but that's okay. They're still going to be good this way. Then what we can do with them afterwards is, if we want the balsamic and vinegar, the sweet balsamic vinegar and the mustard mixture, we can add that to them after they're cooked. But by leaving them plain, that allows us to do more things with them. So we can add them to a soup if we want. That's just the Breville, just letting us know that it reached temperature.
Ow.
And so it's going to start actually air frying now. Did you hurt yourself, Tom?
I hit my elbow on the back of your chair.
Ow.
I missed
Not
the funny
good.
bone though, but it was close.
So you can mix do 2 tablespoons of a sweet balsamic, like California balsamic, like sweet heat, and a couple tablespoons of mustard, and cut them and put them in that mixture, and then put them on a cookie sheet and roast them at 400 or 425 until they're done to your liking. I probably do them about, 40 minutes or so. But if you do that mixture on the air fryer sheet and do them in your air fryer, it really makes your air fryer a mess, as well as the rack. And I don't like to clean up big messes. But if you do it on a cookie sheet in your regular oven, then it won't be so messy. Oh darn, I could have done that on my little cookie sheet that fits in the Breville, but that's okay. We can go with this. And then we can add them to our salads. They make just a nice little side dish to whatever you're having: beans, rice, a potato, You can put them in, oops, forgot to cut that one. You can put them in a burrito bowl, anything. I mean, we like, you know, adding greens to whatever you're having is never a bad idea. And this is a cruciferous vegetable, so we know that they're very good for us, and we need to eat lots of cruciferous vegetables. And they're a dark leafy green. And if you've never had them, they're kind of like a little cabbage, but they're sweeter than a regular cabbage. And I love Brussels sprouts. I think they are just amazing. And this is a really nice bunch. For a while, the ones we were getting were really buggy. And Tom was, when he would go to, ooh, sorry, that was really noisy. When he would go to put them in his soup, he was having to really check each and every one very carefully, because he would cut them open and then he would find bugs in them. It was really disheartening.
I only kept a good half of the bugs.
Yeah. But these are looking really great. So we also like them raw and shaved and put in our salads. They offer a wonderful texture when they're raw, and if you shave them, you can either do that with a knife or you can use the shredding blade of your food processor. Then that makes them much easier to eat, because not cooked, they can be a bit tough to chew. But if you slice them really thin or shred them, then much easier to eat. And they just offer a really nice texture and flavor in the chopped salads. And you know, a lot of it will get chopped up, but some of it doesn't get chopped up. And then I had them in my salad at lunch today, and it's such a nice surprise to get that little bite of Brussels sprouts. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that was fun. Very yummy. So, and they'll shrink down a bit as well. It is important to remember that when you dehydrate or when you air fry, you are basically kind of dehydrating whatever it is you're cooking. And so it is taking some of that moisture out of them, which does increase the caloric density of whatever it is you're cooking. But I mean, Brussels sprouts are so low calorie density to start with that it really isn't a concern. It would be more of a concern, let's say, if you were doing, you know, when you're air frying potatoes. That's why we air fry. When we air fry potatoes, we air fry the same amount of potatoes that we would eat if we weren't air frying them. And then that's our serving. And then we don't start eating those when we start to eat our meal, because it's much harder to go back to the lower calorie density foods once you've had the higher calorie density foods. So just let me put my gloves on. I burn myself when I don't use gloves in here. And let's just show you how these look. Can you get a shot of that, Tom?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so...
Hey, there you go. See them, they're on screen now on your...
Okay, not yet. They haven't shown up on the iPad yet.
Oh, you must not be current because they're on the computer.
Oh, can you make it more current?
Yeah, you're behind.
Okay, it's really behind. So they turned out really nice. Now, I can eat them just plain, but if you want to dress them up, you can put some salad dressing over them if you wish. My ranch, my Caesar, the creamy balsamic, all of those are delicious on cooked or raw vegetables, or just a little bit of balsamic vinegar or a California balsamic that's flavored, any flavor, whatever you like. It could be basil, it could be the Italian. The lemon is like no-brainer, right? The lemon is so, so good. The ruby red onion, the sweet heat. I mean, it just all depends on what you like. So, so we'll eat these tonight. So I saved them. They didn't go in the trash. I can feel good about that. And I'm just gonna set them over on the counter just to cool down, and then we'll plate them
Jesse
so that we can
Jesse
have them.
thinks the asparagus might go with your ranch dressing.
Well, I think it would, but I don't have any ranch made today. But I do have Caesar, and I think they'll go good with
I
the
think Tiffany would
Caesar
say
ranch.
everything goes good with ranch dressing.
Well, I think her kids would say that for
How many
sure.
more Brussels sprouts are you going to put on that pan? It's looking really full.
It is, but I'm going to go ahead. It's a little crowded, but I've got a whole bag, so I'm going with it because we have another whole bag in the refrigerator, which we can freeze them.
And
It'd be
go in
fine.
dump soup.
Yeah, we can freeze them, and then Tom can put them in his dump soup. So are you guys behind since yesterday was a holiday? Do you have stuff batch prepped for the week? We have 3 salads left. So Tom will have one tonight, and then we'll both have one tomorrow. And tomorrow's Wednesday. And so then Thursday, after we do our live show with you all, we'll have to go grocery shopping and get everything to make more salads. And so that's going to work out perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I do have romaine because I made Caesar salad when we had the lasagna. And so I bought the big package at, somebody wanted to know about my drink.
Yeah, there's a question about your drink. Veggie Minded, what is the beautiful red drink Tami is drinking? I've been multitasking while watching and may have missed it if she told us already, but no, she hasn't told us what she's...
I have not. I was going to go to the trash, but then I remembered I have my garbage bowl up here. Okay, so if you'll grab the jar of Beet Boost for me,
It's
Tom.
right there?
The jar. No,
Oh.
the container. He's like, it's right there.
Well, you were speaking in femalese.
I was speaking in femalese. So this
Or
is
I was
Beet
listening
Boost,
in manese.
and I'm going to take a drink since you brought it up. So good. So this is made from beets and cherries, tart cherries, not sweet ones, but tart cherries. And so it helps you have more stamina when you're exercising. So if you drink this, or we have the spin one too. Can you hand me the spin one?
Where's it at?
As well, it's up there. I think it's up there by this one as well.
Spin Boost.
Okay, so I use a tablespoon of it. So this is the Spin Boost, and this is the, which way? This way. Is it good now? Okay. And so this one, if you're going to do some really hardcore exercise, you're going to go hiking, biking, swimming, running, whatever, you might want to take this one before, like a half hour before you go, 30 minutes to an hour. Tom has a really good presentation about this in our beverages. If you look for the YouTube video all about beverages, and he talks about it.
Just search Nutmeg Notebook beverages in the YouTube search, it'll come up.
Do that, and that will come up. And so, and it increases your nitric, I'm going to say it wrong. Nitric oxide. And so it's a really good thing. You just get a bigger boost of oxygen, and it helps your muscles recover from exercise, and it helps your performance when you are exercising. So it's something that a lot of athletes really enjoy because it enhances their performance.
There's
now,
a link for Beet Boost in the show notes. There is a 15% discount with the Nutmeg code. When you use our link, you get a 15% discount.
Yes. So there's a link. They can hear you, right? Because you're on mic. So I don't need to repeat it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in the air fryer. Again, it's already somewhat warm still from the asparagus. But I'm going to check them at 20 minutes, and we'll see how they're doing. So we got that done. And I have if you've just joined in, I have a garbage can down here. I'm not throwing things on the floor. Just so you know. If you could hand me this
You
food
can
scale.
reiterate what we're doing today too, because we've been on for a while, so a bunch of people
Yes,
come
so
on.
you guys, I'm just doing, I was doing our batch prepping, and so I told Tom, Well, maybe we should just go live.
What did you ask me to get?
The scale, please. And then I'll trade you this. And I'm gonna do, let's see, I think I usually do 8 ounces, but I wanna do a pound because I have a lot. So this is the 2-pound container of mushrooms from Costco, and they're the organic baby bellas.
What are you making?
And I am going to be making, what do I call it? Smoky mushrooms. And I'll show you. And I have not posted this recipe anyplace. I did show it on a Amazon live that we did, but I have never posted the recipe. Okay, so I'm going to give you that, and I just got to get a couple more, and let's see. And as you can see, the fridge is getting empty, and there's only 3 salads left in there. And here's my cilantro in its little bag, and it's doing great. It lasts for weeks that way. Okay, so if you just joined us,
what way is it that you have it?
I'm just doing some batch prepping, and thought that maybe you guys would enjoy watching it, and we could chat while I do it. So the cilantro is, I learned this from Kirsten, who wrote Fridge Love. And when you get your cilantro home from the store, go ahead and rinse it and cut the bottoms off. Oh, it needs fresh water. And cut the bottoms off, and then put it in a glass of water. And then about every 5 days or so, you do need to give it fresh water, and you tent it with a plastic bag. And it could be the produce bag from the produce department, or you can buy just the simple plastic bags. In some grocery stores, you can purchase a box of them.
Do you seal it on the bottom, or just?
No, you leave it. You just leave it. And what it does is it prevents the herbs from drying out in the refrigerator, because the refrigerator draws the moisture out, and if you don't tent it, then it will dry. But this has been such an awesome trick, because I love cilantro, but normally it doesn't even, it'll last like a week and that's it. Well, this will last 3 weeks. So I'm gonna give that to Tom so he can give it some
Jesse
fresh.
doesn't think your refrigerator technically looks empty at all.
Well,
there's no bare shelf showing.
The containers that are in there are almost empty, except for the salads. So, so it is getting empty. Okay, so now I'm just gonna brush off the mushrooms. So I have a pound of mushrooms here, and I'm just gonna brush them off. If they have a little bit of, I should really do it over my garbage bowl. Normally I would do this at the sink, but I don't get them wet under the sink, under the faucet, because they absorb moisture.
You want to retank those? I got fresh water.
Not right now.
Oh.
Thanks. I think they'll be okay sitting out for just a little bit. And so you can use a paper towel, or you can use a kitchen towel, and we're just getting, some of the, if they have a little bit of debris on them, or they might have some of the little bit of potting soil on them. But if you run them in water, underwater, they're going to absorb the water, and then it just alters the texture of them.
Susan's asking, could you mention again the difference in time between baking in a conventional oven versus the baking in the Breville?
Yeah.
And when would you choose? Okay, let me read the whole question here. Could you please review again the difference in time between baking versus air frying in the Breville, as well as when you would choose not to use the air fryer setting and placement?
Oh, well, I mean, it depends on what I'm, like if I'm baking potatoes, I bake my potatoes at 400 degrees in my regular oven, and that's the temperature that I would use in the Breville to bake my potatoes.
But not on the air fryer side.
And I don't do it on air fry, and I don't do it on convection because it's small and the potatoes, everything's really close to the heating element in there. And so I find that 400 degrees, just using the regular oven, is perfect. And in my big wall oven, I do use the convection because I have 3 trays of food in there. And when you have the convection on, then the fan is blowing, and that is circulating the heat so that you get more even cooking and quicker cooking. And that's really important when you are having 3 trays of food in there. I'm just going to have to rinse my hands really quick, you guys.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do that.
Susan is also then, follow-up question, was expecting the asparagus to come out of the Breville after air frying looking kind of burnt. So I was pleasantly surprised to see them looking so fresh and still green. So you weren't really like air frying them, you were like flash, almost air blanching them.
Yeah, so if you leave them in there too long, they will look like they were dehydrated. I have made that mistake, and they will look like they're dehydrated instead of just being nicely cooked. So, and they're not going to be crispy because we don't have any oil. So, so now I'm just going to slice the mushrooms and put them in my bowl. And I love mushrooms. They're so, I don't know, filling, satisfying. I love just the flavor, the texture of them. I know that not everybody likes mushrooms. They are kind of an acquired taste. But these are so good.
Jesse says if you can't wash the shelves, it's not an empty fridge.
If you what?
If you can't wash the shelves, it's not an empty fridge.
Okay, touche. Well, see, at the beginning of the week, Jesse, it is full with our salads. And, you know, I get a little nervous when, like, we're down to 3 salads. And so today I was like, oh, there's only 3 salads left after my lunch. And then I was like, okay, how long is that going to get us to? You know, because I don't want to go grocery shopping until Thursday. So it's all, you know, our own perspective, I guess. But anyway. And the containers that are in there are almost empty. You know, somebody who likes leftovers, which I do. I love leftovers, or just, I don't really consider batch prepped food as leftovers, but I guess technically it is. But I just love having food already made that is simple and easy, and that I don't have to start from scratch every day. You know, I just feel like, oh, you know, being whole food, plant-based, we just, you know, we're cooking everything. And so whatever I can do to make it easier, I'm all over it. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you what I put in this. And I'm doing a double batch. So, and this recipe is not written down anyplace. So, I mean, for you guys to get. So I'm just going to tell you. So, I made a double batch. So I have 1 pound of organic baby Bella mushrooms that I sliced. I have not made it with just like button mushrooms, but I'm sure that would work too. So, you know, whatever you can get. And then this is the California Balsamic Smoked Hickory Balsamic. And I absolutely love this stuff. Now, if you live outside of the United States and you cannot get California balsamic, which we have a link to this in the show description, and we are affiliates, but we used this for years before we became affiliates with Thomas for this. You could use the Napa Valley Naturals Grand Reserve, which is a thicker, syrupy, sweeter balsamic. So these types of balsamics have low acidity, and so they are sweeter. So they're about 4% acidity, as opposed to like a regular vinegar is 6%. So I'm actually going to use 4 tablespoons of this. But let me tell you, at Costco, they have a thicker, syrupy, sweeter vinegar that you can get now. And it's pretty good, pretty good. So I'm going to pour that in my bowl. And Tom, if you could hand me one of those little spatulas, that would be awesome.
Tiffany's wondering where that cutting board came from. She likes the size. It's so old.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea where we bought it. It was probably from like Bed Bath & Beyond or something.
I should find something close on
Costco.
I should find something close online and get it in our.
Maybe that I'll keep that one too. Thank you. Yeah, we've had this forever. You know, if you buy just like any really well-made wood products, if you take care of them, they'll last a long time. Okay, then I'm going to use, let's see, what do I want?
Hi, Mona, welcome. We've been on for a while, but she's going to be on for a while. We're just doing our regular late batch cooking because of the holidays. So,
yep.
So, I still see a number of things to do.
I know. We're getting there.
So I might want to go up and finish.
This way we can, you know, have it easy the rest of the week. Let's hope. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of onion powder. So I'm just going to do half a teaspoon of each. And, you know, it just adds a nice little bit. Oh, actually, I'm going to do a teaspoon because I'm doubling it. Teaspoon, if you're doubling it, 1 pound of mushrooms, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of onion powder. And we do have a link for local spicery below. And then a 1/8 teaspoon of chipotle chili powder, and you can also get it from a local spicery. It's called Morita Chipotle. I'm probably butchering that. And that would be 1/4 of a teaspoon of that. Now, if you don't want the spice, you could just use a little bit of smoked paprika would work. And then I'm going to do half a teaspoon of, this is just a powdered mustard. And if you don't have a powdered mustard, you could use just regular mustard, like a Dijon, or if you have the salt-free mustard, that would work. And a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, or actually I think we'll use the black cumin seed.
You can see the steam coming out of the Breville.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just black cumin seed that I'm using. It doesn't taste like cumin, but it adds it has a bit of a peppery flavor to it, or you could use black pepper. And I'm gonna see, I think that's it. I got everything. So, you know, it doesn't have a whole lot to it. Now, if you can't get a hickory smoked balsamic, or you don't have one and you want to make these right away, you could use whatever flavor of flavored balsamic that you have, or just a sweet balsamic, and then you could add just a little bit of the liquid smoke. And I would start with like 1/8 of a teaspoon because it can be really strong, and you can always add more, but you can't take away. And so start small and then add a little more. And never measure and pour over the top of it, because if you accidentally get too big of a splash, you can't take it out. So, you know, do it in your little measuring spoon off to the side. When you get the right amount, then pour it into your balsamic. And that will just help. And I wanted to tell you guys too, so when the grandkids are here and I am, you know, I've got all my seasonings here, and you know, there's going to be a fight, or somebody's going to have to go potty, or somebody's going to need a drink, or whatever it is. Okay, that's my timer. Whatever it is, then I can easily forget what ingredients have already put in, what haven't I. And so as I use something, and I was doing this while I was talking to you guys, I set it off to the side. And then I know, oh, I've already put onion powder in. And then when if I get interrupted and I come back and I still see these containers here, I know I haven't put these in yet. But each time I put something in, then I set it off to the side. Or you get a text message, or your phone rings, whatever the interruption is. But that helps me keep track of what I've done. So I need to put my gloves on, and I'm going to check the squash because the timer there was for the squash. So let me look and see. Show Tiffany her beautiful flowers.
We're here for squash right now.
I know, but I'm gonna need, I gotta grab a spatula.
Okay.
Hang on.
See how these guys, well, these guys are starting to get some color. Where's the light?
It's the top button there that is starting to wear off.
Oh, that's why I didn't recognize it. So these things are going to get some black on them. They're getting dark.
Oh yeah, they're getting dark.
See the
I'm gonna pull them
steam
out
poofing
pretty soon. Yeah. They're not gonna need to be in there for the whole 20 minutes. Okay, so now I'm just gonna check this and see. And remember, we're not using any oil. And look at that. Look at how it's caramelizing. And oh my gosh, I just love it when it's like that. So, oh yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. Perfect, and no oil. And it's just perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna close that.
Where are you heading with those?
I'm just gonna put them right here.
Okay.
And then, you know, these can be a side dish. They can go, I like to cut them up and put them on my salads. I like them in a burrito bowl. I put them with taco lentils, whatever it is that I have. They're so delicious. So I'm gonna move this because I'm gonna pull those Brussels sprouts too. So I'm just gonna move my kettle. So I have a pineapple I need to cut as well. And then move that over. Oh, tell them about the green pan.
Well, we're doing Brussels sprouts right now.
Okay.
So, how done are they?
Yeah, I think they look great.
Yeah.
So that was about 14 minutes.
Okay, so the asparagus would do that too, but then it would be really floppy, or?
Yeah, it would just, I don't like it to get all limpy. So, but these are great. And I don't want to overcook them because if I want to heat them up, I don't want them to be mushy. But, and you can see that, you know, this little corner, the heating element's not as hot on it. But those look great. They're going to have really wonderful flavor. It'll be almost like they were grilled. They're going to be so good. So let's see. I'm going to set the timer.
Tiffany wants to know if Jesse's gotten her Rebel out of the box yet.
I think it is. It better be. Okay. So, sorry for that little disruption.
No, it's part of batch cooking. This is impromptu.
It is.
Everything is legal.
Everything is. Okay, so then I just take and I'll just pour this over, this marinade will just go over the mushrooms. And I'm so addicted to these, you guys. I make them often. They're so good. And especially if you bought mushrooms and didn't get them used up, this is a great way to use them so that they don't go to waste. And then just stir them up and get that sauce all over. You'll think at first like, oh, it's not going to be enough. It is. It's enough. It's going to be great. Wow. These are wonderful.
Jessie does have her Breville out of the box in the setup in the garage, and they've done the pre-use, preheating exercise.
Nice.
Next step, put in a potato.
You've got to. So it's not real hot here today, so I didn't feel bad about using my big oven, and because I had so much to cook at one time. But if I didn't want to get it all done today, then I would have been happy to just use the Breville and just do one tray at a time. But that's not how it worked out today. So I think since the big oven's already on, you can make these in the Breville. And I have that little jelly roll pan that fits in the Breville that you can make these on. But since my oven is already on, I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven while the potatoes are finished baking, and just, you know, make use of that. So I'm going to need to actually move this and go put it over on the counter because I'm going to need this baking tray. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to slide it right there.
Oh, I saw that. Did we catch that move on film? I'm not sure.
It works easy.
That was a pro move.
I'm a pro.
You just slid that parchment right up onto the quartz countertop.
Okay, and then I'm just going to line this.
Heat's not a problem for this stone top.
No,
so.
it doesn't hurt my... Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it if it couldn't handle it, but it's not a problem. And so I'm going to crumple this up so it's going to be noisy.
It's my fault and Richard's fault that Jessie has a Breville that she's not using, because I got Richard excited about getting one, so then he got one.
Okay, well then they need to use it. Oh, I was going to tell Jessie too. I was going to text you, Jessie, and tell you there's a new vegan food truck that's opening up in your town.
Mary Jo wants to know, do you always dress up for batch cooking?
No, but I had been shopping today. I had been out.
She didn't say that exactly. I'm paraphrasing.
Okay, I had been out shopping, and then I came home, and I needed to eat right away because I hadn't eaten, and it was like 1 o'clock.
Here, let's see your whole. Oh, you got the trash there. Let's see your whole outfit. See, it's a maxi. Is that a maxi dress?
It is. It's
so
a maxi dress. Ta-da!
Okay.
So, and it's from Land's End. Everybody always wants to know where my clothes came from. And I ordered it from Land's End, and I did not order a petite, and I'm like almost 5'4", and I should have ordered the petite because I'm very short-waisted, and the waist on this comes way down on me. So if you're 5'4" or under, order the petite. But I got the regular, and it's an extra small because, you know, vanity sizing. They want to make you feel good about...
Tiffany says you're a total fashionista.
So I do like to dress up. And every time we see Chef AJ, she's like, you're in a dress. Do you ever wear shorts? Do you ever wear pants? And I said, yeah, but like dresses are actually cooler than anything else in the summertime. Okay, so you see how well coated everything is. And now I'm just going to spread them out on my baking sheet. And they're going to go in the 400-degree oven, preheated, for 20 minutes. And go ahead and scrape out any extra sauce because we just don't want to...
Those look so good
They're
already.
So yummy. I love these on my salads. You can put them on your veggie burgers. You can put them on a baked potato. You can put them on a baked sweet potato. I love the flavor of the smoke, you know, with the sweetness of a sweet potato. It's just so yummy. Okay, and I like to scrape things well. I don't like to waste a bunch of stuff.
Jessie remembers one time when she wore a dress back in the early 80s.
Jessie. I love dresses. So I just, like I was going, I don't dress up just to be at home. And when we have the grandkids, I'm in shorts or capri pants or exercise pants so that I can be on the floor and play with them and do all the toys and go to the park and all of that. But I do love to wear dresses. So if I'm going to go do errands, go shopping, whatever, I do like to put on a dress, and it just makes me feel good.
She says seriously, she thinks that's the last time.
Seriously. Well, a lot of people don't wear dresses, and that's okay. But I find that they're very cool for summer. They kind of like,
What's the name of the mushroom dish? What do you call it?
Smoky Mushrooms.
But it's not published, or it is published?
It is not. So I'm going to put them in the oven, and then I'll tell you what's in them again.
So this is a bonus verbal recipe for those that tuned in today.
Okay.
You don't know if you're publishing that on an open broadcast or whether it's going to wind up in a ebook.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And we just, we haven't made a cooking video for a while. I mean, I guess we could have been doing that during this time, but instead I thought it would just be fun to hang out with you guys instead. Okay, so Tom, I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to read them the recipe for the smoky mushrooms one more time. So you guys, this is where I write recipes down when I'm creating them, just in a composition book, and I date it. And then and my grandma used to keep notebooks.
How neat is the smoky mushroom page?
It's not bad. See?
We can hold it up to the camera if they want.
Well, I'm going to read it to them.
Okay.
So they can write it down. So it is, because I have other recipes on here.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't.
Okay, so that give everybody a chance to get a pencil and paper.
Okay.
If they
Get a pen and paper so you can write this down. 8 ounces. Well, I doubled it. So should I give you the doubled recipe, or should I give them the single? Now, I'm going to give you the double because you're really going to want to double it, because when I make just 8 ounces, I'm always disappointed because they shrink so much because there's so much water. So I'm going to double it. So 1 pound of sliced baby portobellos. You could use the white mushrooms, I'm sure, but I've never tried it with them. 2 tablespoons of hickory smoked California balsamic vinegar. Oh, did I say 2 tablespoons?
I didn't. I was reading. I didn't hear you.
I've got to double it. 4 tablespoons. I need to change this recipe. If you don't have the California balsamic hickory smoked, use a thicker, syrupy balsamic vinegar, like Napa Valley Naturals Grand Reserve, or the organic Costco balsamic vinegar that's in the organic department, not their regular one, but the organic one. It is thicker and a little more syrupy. So 1 pound of mushroom sliced, 1/4 cup, which is 4 tablespoons, of hickory smoked California balsamic vinegar, or a sweet reduced balsamic vinegar with a little bit of liquid smoke. I would start with 1/8 of a teaspoon because liquid smoke is really, really strong. And then 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 of a teaspoon of chipotle chili powder. If you don't want the heat from that, you could use smoked paprika. 1/2 a teaspoon of mustard powder, or 1/2 a teaspoon of a Dijon, or a, what's the salt-free mustard? The Westbury stone ground mustard. That would work too if you don't have the powder. And of course, you guys, you can adjust everything to taste depending on what your personal preferences are. Now, if you wanted to make these pepperoni-ish, you could add some of Local Spicery's pepperoni spice to it, and then it would make them a bit like pepperoni. And then you could use it on pizza or over your pasta. Tom's saying get closer. This is Local Spicery pepperoni spice. And I would start with half a teaspoon and then taste it and up it to be what you like. And if you go to the show notes, we have our affiliate link there. And when you're at the checkout, in the little comment or message box, put in there 2 flavors of spices that you'd like to try, and they'll send you a little free sample of those with your order. You have to have an order. Okay, then they go into a 400 preheated oven, 400 degrees, for about 20 minutes. And I put them on a parchment-lined baking sheet. So there you go. That is your bonus from Tami today. And they are absolutely, positively addicting. They are so good. Okay, so now I have my watermelon that I've got to cut. So we're making some really good progress here today. So I've just got my, ooh, this is a juicy one. It's squirting me already. So I just cut it in half. I usually have Tom do this part. But here we go. Ooh, this looks like I picked a pretty good one. Nice. Doesn't look too bad. So you guys know Esther, who we've interviewed, and AJ's had her on her show. Ben brought one to a dinner we were eating with them the other night, and it was so red and so juicy. I was like, tell me how to pick out a good watermelon. And so he said, look for one that is very green. Get the darkest green one that you can find, but then one side needs to be yellow. And so the bottom of this had yellow. And he said, that usually results in a very ripe, very juicy, very sweet watermelon. So that's what I did when I picked this one out. So I'm hoping that I did good. Now, I only cut half of it at a time because, once it's cut, it starts to degrade, and I don't want that to happen. Oh, do I have good battery on my phone? Did you happen to check that?
It's a brand new battery.
No.
You had just put it in.
No, on my phone. My phone. Do I have a good charge? I didn't even check that.
I have no idea what your battery charge is.
Okay.
It doesn't show me this.
Okay, well, I haven't been on it a whole lot today.
Okay.
So I cut a piece off the bottom just to give me a nice
Yeah. If I get a
firm.
warning, I can switch to the charger, but we'll lose the remote mic, and then you'll have to just talk really loud.
Okay, so I just take a slice off the bottom just so it won't roll on me. And then I'm going to take a piece off the end here and just toss it. I know everybody has their own way of doing it. You can go all the way around and trim the rind off if you wish. I have done that, but it's not my preferred method. I like to just do it like this. And then this is how I go about it. And then I've got a garbage can down here, you guys. And I'm just going to need my container. And I don't have a glass container big enough to put my cut watermelon in. So I do use these Gladware ones. And this is just what I do. Now, the kids do like it if you cut it, you know, if you take and cut it so that they get like a triangle, and then they can hold on to the rind. They think that's fun, you know, to be able to eat it that way. And that is fun. So you can do it that way as well. And then I just turn this, and that's how I do it. So this one isn't as red as the one that Ben had. So mine's not as ripe. And I can't remember. I think I got this one from Whole Foods. But Costco has watermelon, and for a really good price. I think I paid $8.
Mike Herndon says, don't cut your finger.
Oh, yeah, I don't usually, but don't jinx me. Oh, there's a fly in here. He's decided to be a pest. So my dad grew up in the South, in Mississippi, and they would pickle the watermelon rind. You know, they didn't waste any of the food from the garden. And you can turn it into pickled, which I've never had. I can't tell you if it's good or not. But I love watermelon. I buy a watermelon every week in the summertime. Tom eats a little bit.
Cutting that first piece off at the beginning makes that so easy.
It does.
Because you're doing the 2 strips. You're not having to like cut a whole circle.
Right. It makes it so much easier. Okay, I'm gonna need another container here. Thank you. And I'll eat the whole watermelon all by myself. If he doesn't eat any of it, I have no problem. I eat watermelon every day. I just love it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one this way.
Nikki T says, yay, my favorite type of video is watching with my mom. Thank you, Tami and Tami.
Thank you for watching. We haven't done one of these in a long time.
This is like a reality video. Unplanned, unscripted.
Yeah, it's true.
We don't know what's going to happen next.
We don't. We just don't. It's like, okay, let's just see what we can do in the amount of time. What time is it? I don't even know.
This is, we're shooting on Tami's iPhone. I'll be just down here. And we didn't set up the studio equipment except for one light. And we did use a monopod and our little, motion dampening gimbal thingy so that there's not camera shake. So that's why it's impromptu.
This is bare bones.
So we just set up a very basic system. No extra computers, no B-roll, no slideshow, because we're shooting what's really happening today on an unscheduled basis.
Right.
So, all right, so I got my screen time.
You prove that you're really here.
Yeah.
Okay, then just this last little piece. And then, in a couple days when this is all eaten, then I will go ahead and cut up the rest of it. But, somebody asked me one time, well, when you, cut stuff in advance, doesn't it start to lose some of the nutrition? Yeah, it does. It does start to lose a little bit. But here's the thing, and I have a garbage can down here, you guys. If it wasn't pre-cut and ready to go, it wouldn't get eaten. So it's better to lose, in my opinion, it's better to lose a little bit of the nutrition and have it to eat. And I heard Dr. Greger tell somebody one time when she said, well, if you cut the broccoli ahead of time, then it's going to lose some of its nutrition. And he said, just eat another bite of broccoli then, And so that's kind of what I subscribe to then. Yes.
We have a question kind of on that same theme.
Okay.
To go back and address the mushroom recipe, Tiffany's asking if the recipe will be listed here. She was typing fast. Thank you, Tiffany, for posting the recipe ingredients in the show notes. The recipe of the smoky mushrooms is a bonus for those only that watch this video. We will not be posting that down in the show notes. So Tiffany probably did a great job listing the ingredients, and you can go back and transcribe those or re-watch that little section of the video. I will not be putting it in the show notes because we will be formally publishing that in a future e-product of some sort.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you, I might need that for the bananas.
And then the question is,
yes, question.
From Simply MJ, single person, so would you please address how long these foods keep in the fridge, which ones freeze well, or any other methods of preserving the finished foods?
Sure, of course. So actually, you can, the asparagus you don't want to freeze. So you just want to cook what you're going to be able to eat in a few days. And if you cook things to the point of being al dente, which is, to the tooth, then it allows you to have room to reheat them. So if you want to reheat them and not have them be mushy. So the potatoes, if we don't get them all eaten in the week, I'll freeze them. So let's say we're going on vacation or something, and when we get ready to leave, I still have sweet potatoes or regular potatoes or whatever, rice, any kind of grain. We just go ahead and freeze it. If we have spinach in a bag, we go ahead and freeze it. So if you freeze things like the watermelon, the strawberries, if you freeze the fruit, then the cells expand in the freezer from the cold temperature, and then when you thaw them out, they reduce and they release the juice, and so they're not going to have the same texture that they had when they were fresh. But you can use them in smoothies or sauces. You can make a wonderful watermelon drink with some fresh lime. You can put the watermelon in the blender and add some, I like to add sparkling water to it and some fresh lime juice, and pour it over ice, blend it and then pour it over ice, and that can be delicious. Or we have a recipe for making watermelon popsicles out of that. And the same with the strawberries. You can use it to make a no sugar jam with some dates and different things like that. So the squash, you could definitely, you can cook it and then you could go ahead and freeze it if you wanted to. Or you could cut it in half and you could freeze half of it and the other half you could cook. So the Fridge Love book, we interviewed Kristen, who wrote the Fridge Love book, and in that book she gives you all the things, all the details about what will stay fresh for how long. Part of that is going to depend on how fresh it was when you purchased it, and then also how to freeze things. And I'm sure you can find food charts if you just Google it and find food charts. But I do freeze extra sweet potatoes or potatoes if we have them left over and we're not going to be able to eat them. And it is going to change the texture. The same with bell peppers, onion, celery, any of those things. You can go ahead and chop them up and you can freeze them, but then they're not going to be crisp. You're not going to be able to get, a crunchy bite from them, but you can use them for cooking. Absolutely use them for cooking. That little pesky fly wants to get me.
The watermelon stays, keeps its texture for 3 or 4 days. It starts to get watery, but we tend to burn through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's probably good for about 4 days. Again, though, it depends on how fresh it is when you purchase it. So what we have discovered is that we're here in California, and we get so much of our produce is grown here or it's grown in Mexico, and we get it when it's really, really fresh because it doesn't have very far to go to be at our store. So, a lot of times on the packed on date, like the Brussels sprouts will have the date of when it was packed, or the lettuce, or whatever, asparagus, and sometimes it's like 2 days later after it's been packed that it's in our Costco. And so if I lived in the Midwest or the East Coast, it has to travel a lot further. It's not going to be as fresh. Okay, so I am just going to check the potatoes.
Okay, while you're doing that, I wanted to tell Tiffany that it was fine to post the recipe transcription in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely, because I gave it to everybody.
So that was fine. I just was saying I wasn't going to publish it in the show notes formally. So in the chat's an informal posting for those that are actually watching the video. So I wasn't.
You're not chastising.
I wasn't trying to get you in trouble. No.
So the Yukon Gold potatoes are done, and so I'm just going to put those over here to the side, and I'm just going to check.
You're going to check the other ones. How are you doing?
Oh yeah, yep. They feel like they're done.
So you just poked them.
I did. Oh yeah, they're done. So I'm going to take these out. I'm just going to set these up here.
Oh,
well, I can show everybody, but then
okay.
It's hot and it's heavy.
And that's why we like that board on top of the Breville.
We do.
For that reason right there.
Okay. Those have 10 minutes left. So I'm going to shut that timer off. Okay, great. So happy my timer's working. We had a service call on the oven. Okay, so I got that done. Next, I think I'll peel the bananas, and I'm going to hand you that. Okay, so I have a bunch of ripe bananas, you guys, and I love to use these in my quinoa banana oat muffins, lots of different desserts, banana nice cream, my chocolate banana nice cream. I like to use them when I'm making my chocolate cherry brownies or the peanut butter chocolate chip blondies. All of those recipes are on the blog. And so what I do is once they get nice and spotted, like so, these are maybe even a little bit further than I would wish. But I also make Drina Burton's banana bread for the grandkids, and they absolutely love it. And so when my bananas are nice and ripe like this, then this is when I peel them. And when they get all spotty like this is when they're really sweet. All of the natural sugars have come to the surface, and they're super sweet right now. And that allows us to bake the muffins, the quinoa banana oat muffins, without having to add any additional sweetener, no sugar. I don't even put dates in that one. You can add some raisins if it's not sweet enough for you, and you could add some date paste too, I guess. But they don't really need it because the bananas are just so sweet. So we just peel them, and I don't slice them. I know some people slice them and they put them on a cookie tray, and then once they're frozen, then they take them off and put them in a bag, and that's just too many steps for me. That's too much work for me. So I prefer just to do it this way, and then they'll freeze, and I can, they're not going to stick together really bad. I can easily pull them apart, and then I can pull out just however many I need, and it works great. So I usually have to do this about once a week. We buy anywhere from 2 to 4 hands of bananas at a time, and because I'm always looking ahead that I need to have some in the freezer because we use them for so many wonderful sweets, and especially for the grandkids. Question, Tom?
So, well, you can't hold it up. So, I don't. They're talking about. I guess this. Am I holding this right? This is this the Nutmeg Notebook? Technically,
one of them.
And
it's just the
tabs of what's being
it's just the
developed in there.
notebook.
So Jesse,
so I can't type on my computer or my iPad when I'm,
banana glue all over your
yeah,
fingers.
when I'm in the middle of putting a recipe together. So I'll just keep that in my kitchen on my counter with a pen so that I can jot things down. I learned the hard way. I made these one really great apple banana muffins one time, and I didn't take the time to write down the recipe as I was making them, and they turned out so great, and I could not recreate them. I have tried many times. So I learned my lesson from that I have to have it there and I have to write it down. And like sometimes when I don't get it right the first time, then, I'll have multiple entries for, like the ranch dressing. I made that like a dozen times before I got it to the point where I really thought, this is it, this is great. Oh, I just need to squeeze out a little more.
So on the
of the
notebook,
air.
there's a discussion going on that perhaps there should be an auction.
Oh, I figured this was like a family heirloom.
And then if you're not willing to auction it, there's a discussion of committing notebook gate and something about
That's funny.
Contriving a way to get for some certain persons to get their hands on the notebook.
I see. So I have a rice and bean burrito filling, a carrot parsnip soup, a watermelon slushy cooler, a chocolate mug cake, an orange cranberry oat muffin. I've made a lot of things.
You're going to create a lot of trouble.
I know.
You need to stop.
Okay, I'll stop. So anyway.
So just more to come in the future.
It's more to come.
We always have to plan the future.
Yeah, always, I'm always coming up with things, but then I think, I'm not ready to publish that yet because, I should make it again and make sure that it's ready to go and that it's perfect or whatever. And so then...
Tiffany likes the purple. It's her favorite color, so that she thinks the book should be hers.
Of course you do. And so then these will just go in the freezer and we'll freeze them and they'll get turned into some other kinds of wonderful things. Oh, let's see. I think I had, I'm trying to decide if this pineapple is ready or not.
Let's see it. Oh, you're coming over?
Yeah, I was going to bring it over here.
It's looking pretty green still.
Yeah, I don't think, I thought, because this was kind of turning.
You usually let them get yellow.
I know. It's not quite ready yet.
We have a pineapple coring video.
It was really green when I bought it, but it's not quite yellow enough. But this morning I saw that the tips of this were getting brown, and so I thought, maybe it's ready to cut. But I do think it needs at least another day before I cut it. So when I do cut it, check out, we have a video on using this pineapple cutter. And I used to buy the pineapple that came pre-cut because I just disliked having to cut it so much. And then I saw my friend Heather cut it with one of these pineapple cutters. And these are only like, I don't know, it's $10 or something on Amazon. Oh my gosh, it makes such a difference, you guys.
Yeah, it's in our gadgets.
It's on our Amazon page.
Shop
and it makes such a difference. And so now I don't buy pre-cut pineapple anymore. I buy them and then cut them myself. So I am going to clean some strawberries. Yeah.
Apple369 is asking, do your bananas turn brown in the freezer once you put them in?
If they're really ripe, they will. If they're overly ripe, these shouldn't.
Yeah.
If they're super soft when you put them in the freezer, then they do seem to turn brown. But if you catch them just right, then
we froze up. Okay, hold on.
Hold on.
Okay, we have 20% battery left.
Whoa, we're getting close on the battery, you guys.
Hang on, it's going to unfreeze in just a moment.
So is it telling you low battery? Is that what's happening?
Well, we have 20% left, so you're good to finish
what I'm doing.
One more thing, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to trim these strawberries. Again, I'm doing this because we will eat them if they're already ready to go. And I'm going to have a bowl of watermelon and fresh strawberries tonight. And so here, I'll just move stuff because I don't think you can see. And so I'm just cutting off the end of them. And that way we will eat these because they're ready to go. We've got a busy schedule the next few days. And so I know if I don't have these already cut, and that one has a little bit of a bad spot that I'm just going to cut off. I know that if I don't have these ready to eat, that they're not going to get eaten. So even if they lose a little tiny bit of nutrient because I've pre-cut them, I'm okay with that. We're really not worried about our nutrient absorption because literally everything we eat is packed full of nutrition. We're not eating stuff that isn't nutritious. And so I'm not worried about it because we have such a good, healthy diet. So I'd rather have things prepped so that we can do this, eat this stuff and not have it go bad. So, and you can freeze the strawberries. Now, Dr. Greger eats the little green stem, and you could. It probably has a lot of, is it chlorophyll that's in the green part? Oh, there goes my timer.
What's that for?
That's for the mushrooms.
Okay.
I'm going to check them.
All right. I'm ready.
And see. Well, let me look first.
Well, we all want to see.
Oh, yeah, they're ready. They're ready to come out. But I got to dry my hands and then get my gloves on. Oh, my gosh. They smell so good. And you see how much they shrunk up, you guys?
We'll look at them when you come out. We can't see through the other grates.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shut the oven off as well. The timer's off. I'm going to shut off my light and the oven. And we'll pull those out. Hey, we didn't spill anything. We didn't get the oven dirty. So here they are, you guys. Oh my gosh.
Let's get
they smell
a
so
top-down
good.
look here.
Well, where do you want me to put them?
Right there where you were. You moved away
Well,
from
I
it.
need to set it down because it's hot.
Oh, it's hot. I'm not even thinking about that.
Yeah, you're not thinking about me. Wow.
Okay. So yeah, they shrunk quite a bit.
Oh, they shrink so much. That's why I'm saying.
So you need to just make that recipe a batch and not call it a double batch. That's a single batch.
Because when I only make 8 ounces, then I'm always disappointed because I just don't have enough. So I'll let them cool here. I'll let them cool on the pan, and then I will use a spatula so that I can scrape up the nice goodies that are on the paper so that those will go with the mushrooms. And I like to add like a handful of those to my chopped salads. They just add so much flavor and so much texture. They're amazing, absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. I could sit and just make a meal out of this, eat the whole thing. But I'm gonna set these just over here so they're out of the way, and finish up my strawberries. So we've got our watermelon and our strawberries, and our freezer is loaded. So here's the deal. Oh, I took my garbage bowl away. Shame on me. Thank you, Tom.
I was going to empty them, but there's no trash in there.
It's over here.
But you're almost done with those.
Here, I'll empty it right here. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so what you can start doing today is just start when you make a soup or beans or lentils or some kind of grain, double the recipe, make a double batch. And oh, by the way, you guys, I have already rinsed these. That's why they're in a colander, because I had already washed them. You really want to rinse them really well because they must grow them in kind of like a sandy soil because they can have a lot of grit on them. But anyway, make extra, as long as you have freezer room, make extra and then freeze them. Watch our Super Cubes video to see how we do it. And that way you will build up a nice reserve in your freezer, and it just makes life so much easier. Then if life gets crazy and busy, you always have food to eat that's healthy. Tom calls it making our own fast food, which it is, because we can't stop someplace and buy the perfect meal. Or even if you can, it's very expensive to do that. Like the salad bar at Whole Foods is about $10 a pound now. And, the way we eat, that's an expensive salad in a hurry. And so if you just have things prepped, watch my salad video, learn how to make salads. I make 14 salads in 30 minutes. And that way we have our salads made, and even when we're crazy busy, then that's what we'll eat because it's made.
Mona's wondering if those get mushy when you put them in the fridge.
No, we're going to eat them within a couple days and they won't be mushy. It depends on how fresh they are when you buy them, how fresh they are when you cut them. I just bought these 2 days ago, and they're really fresh and firm, and so they'll be fine. And we will eat these up in a hurry. So you can make I have the vegan chocolate sauce. Oh my gosh, if you haven't tried that, it is so, so good. If you can't have cocoa, you can make it with carob powder. So I made some and took it to Chef AJ, and I made it with carob powder, and it was still delicious. With the carob powder. So, and if you can't have the caffeine that's in cacao powder, that's what I normally use is cacao powder, then you can use the Wonder Cocoa, and you can find that on our Amazon page, and Whole Foods also sells it. And it has only I think 1% caffeine in it, so it won't keep you up at night.
Mona actually meant the mushrooms. I'm sorry, not the strawberries. Do the mushrooms get mushy in the fridge? Well, they're already soft.
They're soft. Yeah, they're already soft. They're not, they have texture to them. They have chew to them, but they're already soft because we cooked them. So it's not any different than if you saute them in the pan. And I was in a hurry one time, and I did just saute them in the pan, and that worked well. But I like being able to just put them in the oven, because then I don't have to stand there and stir them. I put them in the oven, and I don't have to touch them again until they're done. So, but you could put them, it's no different than if we sauteed them on top of the stove. They're cooked, they're soft, and mushrooms don't usually get mushy. They're just, they have bite to them still, but they are soft. Any other questions?
Apple 369 is sharing that Prince Edward Island is having a potato giveaway this weekend with 60,000 pounds of potatoes. Too bad we don't live there. And then Tiffany, it says that the food here is the only thing that could lure her away from their oceanside weather to the extreme heat of Sacramento.
Oh, wow.
There was a discussion of how to move here, like Chef AJ did, so that she'd be closer to your food.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're enjoying having Chef AJ and Charles here, and we really enjoy their company, and we, enjoy sharing food because we eat the exact same way, except she does have food allergies, but we're able to compensate for that because there's so many wonderful
so
things.
Chef AJ moved closer to Sacramento, so Tiffany could too if she was willing to give up her ocean view.
Tiffany has an ocean view?
Well, she said something. Jesse, the food would be. Oh, wait, I got it back up here. Okay. Oh no, what? I'm putting words. Jesse said that great food like this might be the only thing that could possibly lure me away from the cool ocean into the hellish heat of the Sacramento area.
Yeah, you would not like the heat here, Jesse, because you're used to those wonderful ocean breezes and the beautiful weather. We'd love to have you if you wanted to move over here, but I know you would not like the weather.
Okay, so I take your last thing because we probably need to be closing off before we
Yeah.
get cut off.
So that's everything that I was going to do tonight, because like I said, I made soup and I made the barbecue mini lentil loaves, and we don't have any of the lasagna left. That we have, those extra things are in the freezer. The lasagna I sent home with family so that they could have it. And I timed myself. I wanted to know exactly how long it took to make my lasagna. I did not make my own sauce. I used Well Your World Marinara Magnifica, and it was wonderful. And that saved me time. So it took me 1 hour to make the lasagna.
The link is in the show notes for the...
Oh, and the link is in the show notes for the Well Your World. They have SOS-free marinara sauce. They have two. They have a mushroom one, and then they have the regular one. I get the regular one because I saute mushrooms and add it, and I think, you know, I get more sauce that way if I just saute my own mushrooms for the lasagna. So it took 1 hour to make the 1 pan of lasagna. And I could have made two. We didn't have the whole family here. When I have the whole family, I do make 2 of them, and it does freeze well. And you can cut that recipe in half. If you're cooking for 1 person, you could cut that recipe in half, and it makes 4 servings then in an 8-inch pan, and you could freeze it as well. So we're pretty set. So either tomorrow or Thursday, I need to make some veggie burgers because we're out of veggie burgers in the freezer. I went through our freezer, reorganized the freezer in the garage, and you know, I had some things in super cubes that needed to come out of the super cubes and go into freezer bags. And so we have a nice, I made a chili, and the red lentil chili recipe is on the blog. And so we have a nice freezer full of food again. So I feel like I'm pretty caught up. Apple369 says y'all need to move to Vancouver. I just wouldn't like winter though. Yeah. So, but we have visited there, and we thought it was absolutely beautiful, and we did some hiking, and it was wonderful.
Hardcore says, how many years have you been vegan?
I transitioned in 2013. So I guess we're going on 9 years now. It is 9 years. It was 9 years like in March.
Chef AJ is going to be on Well Your World on Thursday.
Nice.
So we'll be on that morning, and then they'll be on in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
so we will be live again here, you guys, on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. If you have questions for us about a whole food plant-based lifestyle, you can send them to Tami at nutmegnotebook.com, and we will answer those on air on Thursday. We're just going to do another hangout, kind of, you know, open-ended, and we'll take the conversation whatever direction you guys want it to go. So that will be at 9 a.m. this Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, so that would be 11 o'clock Central and noon Eastern time. And then what's Mountain? I always forget Mountain's in there somewhere too.
Mountain is next closest to us. We're Pacific, and then you've got Mountain.
So Mountain is just
Central,
one,
and then Eastern.
So Mountain's 1 hour.
1 hour behind us, but not a lot of people live in Mountain time.
1 hour behind us or 1 hour ahead of us?
Ahead of us.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
So it would be 9 o'clock Pacific time, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Pacific, 10 Mountain, 11 Central, and noon Eastern.
Wow, you're good.
I know, I feel like the weather girl. I could be a weather girl. And over here, the high is going to be, I could be a weather girl. Could do it. All right. So, Tiffany, Jesse, thank you so much for joining us. I didn't even have time to text you guys to let you know that we were going to go live, and Tom was using my phone, so I couldn't text you. So thank you for showing up and answering questions and being here. This was really fun, you guys. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you did, and or the thumbs up, so that we know that you liked it. And I would be willing to do something like this again.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't asked in a long time is go ahead and click on the bell, because that's when we do something like this, which hasn't admittedly been a lot lately, but when we do an impromptu and you've clicked on the bell for notifications, then your smartphone will pop up and say, hey, Tammy's on screen. So, and I know that's how a lot of you found us today, since this was one of those impromptu lives. So,
Yeah, I could show them how I store the potatoes, just really quick.
oh, did you want to? Oh, sure. We
Did I
probably
want-
have 10% left. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put these in this one. So these are the Yukon Golds, and this is how I store them. I just use an open container like this, and I just stand them up in the container. The reason I stand them up is that way they don't have the weight of the other potatoes on them, smashing them and making them.
Store your potatoes at attention in the refrigerator.
That's right. So you see here how they're standing at attention. I do not cover this, because if you cover it, they get soggy, they get wet, and I don't want that to happen. So I just stand them up like this, and then I do the same thing with the sweet potatoes as well. Now these will have to go probably in two containers.
Did you want to do kind of like a quick overview of everything that you did batch?
Oh, I guess we could.
I'll just do a walk around. Don't move stuff. I'll just follow you. Just do a kind of a Vanna White thing around the kitchen counters here, and I'll follow you.
And I usually put Tom's his purple potatoes. I think that one's purple. Oh no, that's a Japanese. So then I stand these up. It's hard to tell once they're baked which ones are the Japanese and which ones are the purple potatoes. But so see, I just stand these up, and these I'm going to put in a separate container for Tom so that he can easily identify them. And so I just do the same thing. I just stand them up because I don't want the skins to get all soggy on me. And so I just do that, and see how they stand up really nicely. And I'm going to let them cool a little bit more before we put them in the oven. So then we have the cut watermelon here. We have the strawberries. We have the bananas that are going to go in the freezer. So we're good on that. This, I will just cover this, and this is going to go back in the refrigerator in the garage. So we do have two refrigerators. We have a refrigerator very similar to this in our garage. And then over here, we have the air-fried Brussels sprouts, and I'll put those in one of the glass containers that we have, and then we can just add these to whatever we want to add to, and we can add a sauce to them, or a vinegar, or a salad dressing. And then over here we have the asparagus, and we're just going to eat that along with our dinner tonight. So Tom's going to have a chopped salad, and he can either cut these his half up and put them in his chopped salad, or he can just, we like to just pick them up and eat them like this. They're great. So the pineapple I'm going to let sit in the window for a few more days. The tomatoes I didn't get washed, but I'm going to wash my tomatoes. And then this is the oven roasted kabocha squash, and look at that, you guys. Look at how beautifully caramelized this is. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat that. I'm just going to have a plate of fruit and vegetables for dinner tonight, because I had a chopped salad at lunchtime, and I'm still very full from that. So I'm just going to have some of the vegetables. And why did you go so far away?
So we can get the whole kitchen in there.
Oh, okay. Well, you can see that we have a mess to clean up. So now, normally, if I'm cooking and I'm not on video, I'll have hot soapy water going in my sink. And as I'm making dirty dishes, then I'll rinse them, and then I'll drop the dirty dishes in my soapy water, because it's much easier and quicker to clean them if you have already rinsed them and put them in hot soapy water, because then the food doesn't get stuck on them. So you know me, I'm all about working smarter, not harder in the kitchen. And so that's one thing that I do. So we've got a little bit of cleanup to do here before we can have our dinner. But thanks everybody for joining us tonight. This was really fun. Let us know if you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see more videos like this. And thank you, Jesse and Tiffany, for joining us as well. We'll see you all back here on Thursday morning for our next live. I'm Tami, and I help you get healthy and stay healthy, one batch prep at a time. Bye, you guys.